Hi everyone. Let us recap from the last session. So in the last session, we have discussed about conditional statements. So in the conditional statements, we have discussed about if else, and else if ladder, and also we discussed about the switch statement. Then we have discussed about the loops. So in the loops, we discussed about for loop and for off, for in loop, and while loop and do while loop. So then we discussed about the break statement and continue statement, how this works. So today let us discuss the following topics. So first let us discuss about nested if and ternary operator. So actually in the conditional statements, we have missed to discuss this nested if. So first let us discuss about the nested if, then we'll discuss about the ternary operator. I think the ternary operator concept we did discuss, but we did not discuss and program on this. So once these topics are done, we'll discuss about arrays. So in the arrays, we'll discuss like how to declare an array and how to access the elements of an array and methods in arrays, constants versus let array, read only array, and union types in arrays. So let us discuss about this. So first, let us discuss about how to use a nested if. So yeah, basically nested if is nothing but condition inside another condition. So now I have a requirement, let's say. So I have a user. So I want to evaluate that if this user is eligible to vote or not in India. So what is the first condition? If he want to be eligible for vote, first condition is he should be greater than 18. That is the first condition. If the age is greater than 18, again he should be Indian. So then only he is eligible to vote. So here you need to keep two conditions. First, I need to check if the age is greater than 18 or not. If the age is greater than 18, then again inside that condition, I need to check if the user is Indian or not. So let us try an example for this. So I'm creating a new file. So nested if. So now let me declare a variable. So let, I would say user is. So this is of type number. I'll declare the age of the user as 19, let's say. And so is Indian. So this is another variable. This is of type Boolean. So I'm declaring this as true. So we have declared two variables. The first variable is user age. So I'm declaring assigning a value of 19. And the second variable is Indian. So it is of type Boolean. I'm assigning true. So now first I'll check if user is greater than 18. This is the first condition because if you want to vote, first he should be having age greater than 18. So this is the first condition. If this condition satisfies, again I need to check if he is Indian or not. So I would say if he is Indian. So now I would say console dot log. So user is eligible to vote. So this is how you can use nested if. So if you specify condition again inside another condition. So here first we are checking user is, this is one condition. Inside this condition, because if this condition is satisfied, again I need to evaluate one more condition, that is if the user is related to India or not. So in this way, specifying a condition inside another condition is called nested if. So based on your requirement, you can keep on adding the conditions. So let me run this. So yeah. So it will simply print user is eligible to vote because this condition is true. Since this condition is true, so it will print this value. It will check the condition. This condition is true. Since this condition is true, so then it will enter into the condition and print. So here I will write one more print statement. So user is having more than 18. User age is more than 18. Okay. Yeah. So now let me run this. So npx. So this is available in the conditional statements. So I would say npx ts node. So src for conditional statements. So inside the conditional statement, it is nested if. So now you should print both the values. User age is more than 18. So this condition should be print. This value should be printed. Apart from that, it should also print user is eligible to vote. So yeah, let us wait. Yeah, so now you can see this condition is satisfied. So it has printed user age is more than 18. Now here is Indian. I have assigned the value true. So since this is condition also true, so it is printing user is eligible to vote. Now I'll keep this as false. So then only the outer if condition will be executed and this will not be executed because this is false. So let me run. Now the output should be only user age is more than 18. So this is how we can use nested ifs. So if inside another if is called nested if. So this is all about nested if. So now let us discuss one more operator that is a ternary operator. So what is the use of ternary operator? I think in the last session we discussed about the syntax of the ternary operator. So the syntax of the ternary operator looks like this. So now first we need to specify the condition. So if the condition is true, then it will execute the expression 1. Then we will have expression 2. So if the condition, whatever the condition we specified, if this condition is true, it will execute expression 1. If the condition is false, then it will execute the expression 2. So this is similar to if else. In the if else also same thing happens. First it will check the condition. If the condition is true, it will go to the if block. If the condition is false, it will go to the else block. It is similar to that. I can say this is a simpler form of if else. But we usually use this ternary operator for a simple one line statement. If you have too much of code, we don't prefer to go with the ternary operator. So now let us discuss an example for ternary operator. So now, yeah, so I wanted to print even or odd. So now let us try with the ternary operator. So now let me declare a number. So let user number, it is of type number. So I'm assigning a value of 10. So now I'm going to define the condition. So yeah, what is the condition? So here I would say number, user number, percentile 2 equal to 0. So here I'm trying to divide a number with 2. So this is modulus operator. So user number percentile 2, it will divide the number with 2. If you get the remainder as 0, so this will be true. So if this is true, so then so I would print even. If this is false, I'd print odd. So now whatever the result you get, I want to store in a variable. So let, I would say result equal to this. Okay. So now this condition will be evaluated. So as of now, what is the value of user number? So the value of user number is 10. So 10 percentile 2, you will get 0. So 0 equal to 0, this is true. Since this is true, it will directly go and execute the first expression. We are just giving even. So this value will be written that will be stored in the result. So let me run this. So I would print result. So here either you should get even or odd. So in this case, the value of user number is 10, which is a even number. So the result should you get as even. Let us run this. So it should return even. So for this, the output should be even. So that will be stored in the result, and we are printing the result value. So now let me give user number as 11. So now in this case, the value of user number is 11. So when you divide 11 with 2, you will get remainder as 1. So 1 equal to 0. This is false. Since the condition is false, the first expression will not be executed. So rather it will execute the second expression. So the second expression we are giving as odd. So you will get the result as odd. So this is about ternary operator. So I can say this is a simple form of if else. So whenever you see a simple single line statements, instead of using if else, we can go and use ternary operator. Okay. Yeah. So this is all about nested if and ternary operator. So now let us discuss about arrays. So generally, what is an array? So array is a data structure which can store similar data type. So I mean to say, suppose I wanted to store a list of students. So I want to store some 10 student names. Then I can use array. Again, let's say I wanted to store the marks of a student. Then I can use array. So you can declare the array type as a number and you can store only marks. So now where we use arrays in real time. So generally if you go with the automation script, in the automation, let's say I have one use case. So I wanted to log in into this website. So there is a website sourcedemo.com. So this website, I wanted to run a test case with the different usernames and passwords. In this case, we have close to 6 usernames and passwords. So these are all usernames. This is the common password for all these users. So first I wanted to log in with standard user and secret sauce. Then I want to log in with logged out user and secret sauce. Like that, I have close to 6 usernames and passwords. I wanted to run this test case with the different usernames and passwords. I have to iterate through the login functionality using different usernames and passwords. So in this case, what I can do is I can store these usernames and passwords in an array because when you take a variable can store only one value at a time. But if you consider the arrays can store multiple values. So now I can create an array. Inside the array, I can store usernames and passwords, and I can iterate through the array, and I can perform the login. In the same way, once I log into this website, I can see multiple products here. So now I wanted to write an automation test case which is going to place order with the different products. So first I want to place an order with this product, Sauce Labs backpack. And in the second iteration, I want to place an order with Sauce Labs bike light. So now here, whatever the products that we have, we can keep these products in an array and we can iterate through the array, and each time you will get a product, that product can be used to place the order. So this is the use of arrays. So we generally use for data driven testing or executing the same test case with a different kind of data. So we can make use of arrays. You can simply store the data in array and we can iterate through the array and we can use that data in our test case. Okay, so now let us discuss how to declare an array. So let me create a new folder here. Yeah. So I just created an arrays folder here. So now let me create a new file. So yeah, 001 arrays. So declaring array. So how to declare an array? So if you want to declare array, the following is the syntax. So now I wanted to store a list of student names. So now I would say let. First you need to provide the name of the array. So I'm giving the name of the array as students. So then you have to provide the data type of the array. So what kind of data that you wanted to store inside the array. So generally the student names would be string data type. So now you can give string. So this is generally how you declare a variable, but how I want to make this as an array. Just give square braces here. So now this will become an array. So I have declared a string array. The name of the array is students. So now I would like to store the data inside the array. So now you can initialize the array like this. So you can give John. So these are all different student names. So I would say David and Mary. So these are all different student names. So this is how we can declare an array. So I just initialize the array with 3 different values. So students is an array. It is of type string. Since you have provided the data type as string, it can hold only string values. Suppose if I give 1, 2, 3 here, it will give an error because the type of the array is string. If you declare array type as a string, then it can hold only string data. It cannot store any other values. Okay. So now I have declared an array and I have initialized the array with three different values. So now let us print the values of this array. So now we can say console.log students. So let me run this. So it will simply give you or it simply print three values to the console. So let me run this. So this is available in the arrays folder src slash arrays and yeah 001. So let me run this. So now I should see George, David and Mary. These three values should be printed as an array to console. Yeah. So yeah. Yeah. So the three values got printed. So this is how you can declare a string array. Now I wanted to create one more array, so which will store only numbers. So let me create an array of type marks. The name of the array is marks. So I'll give the name as marks. This is the name of the array and the marks should be usually number data type. So I'll provide number. So here you need to provide numbers. So I'll provide marks as 85, 90, 95, 100. So these are the marks of the students. So let me print the marks. So yeah, this is a normal way of defining arrays. So there is another way called declaring an array in generic type. So how to declare the generic arrays? So yeah, we can declare the generic arrays in the following format. So I'll say student names. So I'm declaring a generic array. The name of the array is student names. So I have to provide array and here you have to provide string. So equal to, so this will create an array. Now I want to assign the student names here. Okay, yeah. So this is how you can create a generic array. I think shortly we will discuss about this generic array. So what is the difference between this array and this array? We'll discuss shortly. So this is called generic arrays. So these kind of arrays we can pass to a function and they can accept any type of data. So that we'll discuss shortly. So these are the ways that you can declare an array in TypeScript. This is the normal way of declaring an array. This is declaring an array using generics. I have declared the array and I have assigned the values. So both with respect to the functionality and the methods available, everything will be same if you declare this way or this way. So now let me print the student names of a generic array. Yeah, so let me run this. So it will simply print the values. So here, this console.log students, this is printing these three values. The generic array also works in the same way. It also prints these three different values. As I told you, the methods, the process, accessing, everything will be same. So this is how we can declare arrays in TypeScript. So we can declare directly using the data type, or the another way is you can declare using generics. So now we know how to declare the array and initialize the values of the array. So now let us discuss how to access the values of an array. Because once I create an array, so I might need to access a value of an array, or I might need to update the value of an array, or I might need to delete a value from the array. So let us see how we can access. So by default, when you declare an array, each element gets an index. So the first element will start with the index 0. This will be index 1. This will be index 2. So that can be of any type. It can be any string or number or a generic array. Any array you take, the index of the array will start from 0. So now let me create a new file here. So I'll give the name of this file as accessing the arrays. Okay, let me create new file. So arrays, I would say, accessing elements. dot ts. So now I would like to access the elements of the array. So now first let us discuss let us create the array. So I'll use the same array here. Okay. So now I declared a student array. I have assigned three different values for this array. Now let me access using console.log. Using index, I will access this. So I would say students of 0. This will give you the first element, that is index 0. This is using index 1. This is using index 2. So let me run this array. It will simply print the values from each of the index. So the student of 0, it should give John. Student of 1, it should give David. Students of 2, it should give Mary. Because the index of the element start from 0. So this is how we can access the array. Now suppose let's say I want to override a particular value. You can do that by using index. Now suppose instead of John, I wanted to update this as test John. So now I would say student of 0 equal to, I'll assign as test John. So now the value of index 0 will be updated with test John. Now if I access student of 0, instead of getting John, it will give you test John. So this is how you can update a value. So let me run this. Now I should get student of 0 should be test John, and the remaining values index 1 and index 2, there is no change. We should get the earlier values as is. Yeah, now you can see index 0 has been updated with test John. So this is how you can access the values using index individually. But instead of accessing individually by using index, I want to loop through these arrays. I think in the previous sessions, we have discussed about loops. We have discussed about for loop, for in loop, and for off loop. So you can also use these loops to iterate through the array. So let us try with for in loop and for off loop and for loop. So I would say iterate through arrays. So now first I'll use for in loop. So I would say for, so let, so I'll give index because yesterday we discussed that the for in loop actually gives you the index instead of the value of the element. So I would say let index in students. This is an array. So now here in the index, you will get the index. First, you will get 0, 1, 2. So now let me run this. So let me print this. So I would say first I'll print the index, comma, the value. So I would say student of index. So this will actually print the index of the element and the value located at that particular index. So let me run this. I'm just formatting this. So let me run this now. It will simply iterate through the array and it will print the values from each of the index one by one. So first it will get index 0 and it will access student of 0. Then the index will be 1. So student of 1, it will give you David. So the second index is Mary. You can see that here. Index 0, it has given test John. Index 1, David. Index 2, Mary. So this is how we can iterate through an array using for in loop. So now I can try with for off loop. So I would give here element. So for off. So here you just need to give off. Then here, if you use for off loop, here you will get the value instead of the index. So directly I can get the value here. So now I'll print the value here. So I don't need to get, here you don't get the index. In the for in loop, you will get the index. Using the index, I'm able to access the array. But in the for off loop, you directly get the value of the element. So I'm directly printing the value of the element. So let me run this. So now it should print. This will iterate to the array. It will print index and the value of the array at that index. And the second iteration should simply print only the values. So you can see the second iteration for off loop printing test John, David, and Mary. So this is how we can iterate through an array using for off loop and for in loop. I think there is another way you can iterate through a traditional for loop. So what I can do, I can say for let int let I equal to 0. I would say I less than or equal to, sorry, I less than. So we can get the length of array or number of elements using dot length. So yeah, it will give you the number of elements. Then I would say I plus plus. So this is traditional way of iterating to an array. So yeah, I'll print I. Then I would say student of I. So this will also print the same values. But this is how you can access in the traditional way. So this is how we can access the elements of an array. So we can access by using index individually, or you can use index for of loop you can use, for in loop you can use, or you can iterate through using a traditional for loop. So here just length will give you the number of elements. I'm just checking the conditions. I'm printing the index and value of array at that particular index. So this is all about accessing the arrays. So now let us discuss about what are the methods that are available in the arrays. So there are many methods available in the arrays. So let us discuss those methods. So there is a method. So there is a method push method and pop method. Okay, let me increase the size here. Yeah. So there are many methods available in the arrays. So push method, and there is a method pop and unshift and shift. So there is a map method and filter method. So there is a method reduce and there is a method find. So these are all different methods that are available in the array. So now let us discuss about each of these methods and what these methods does. What is the use of push method and what is the use of pop method, unshift, shift. So let us discuss about all these methods one by one. So let me create a new file. Sorry, let me create a new file. Arrays. So yeah, this is methods. So now let me create the same array. I will take the same array students. Yeah. So now first let us try with the push method. So what this push method does is it will insert a value at the end of the array. So currently there are three values available in the array. So in the students array, there are three values available. Now I wanted to insert an element at the end of the array. So now what I can do is I would say students dot push. So I'll provide a value carry. So now let me print the array console.log. So I'll print the array students. So now if you run this, you can see there will be four elements in the array. So now let me run this. So now I should see four values in the array because the push method is going to insert the element at the end of the array. Now the Gary value should be inserted at the end of the array. So the Gary value should appear after Mary. Yeah, so let us wait. So it's still running. Yeah, so now you can see a Gary value has been appended at the end of the array. So now there is another method pop. What the pop method does is it is going to remove the element from the array. So it will remove the element at the end. So now let me run this. So now if I run this, now you should not see the value Mary because, oh sorry, you should not see the value Gary because the push method it has inserted at the end. Now the pop method will remove that element. So let me run this. So now you should print only three values. First, it will give you four values. After calling the pop method, the element will be removed. Now you should print only three values to the console. Yeah, now you can see we got only three elements. So now let us discuss the unshift method. So the unshift method is used to insert the element at the starting of the array. So now I insert a value test user. So the moment you call unshift, it will simply insert the value at the starting of the array. So let me run this. Now I should see the test user should appear before John because the unshift method will insert before at the index 0. Yeah, now you can see. So it has insert this. So again, there is a shift method. So the shift method will remove the element from the index 0. Yeah, I'm calling shift method. So now we should remove the test user. So you should remove test user and you should print John, David, and Mary. Only three values you should print. Yeah, now we can see the test user has been removed because we are using the shift method. And only since this test user has been removed, we can see only three values. So this is how we can use the shift. So push method to insert an element at the end of the array. Pop method to remove the element from the end of the array. Unshift will add an element to the starting of the array. Shift method will remove the element from the starting index of the array. So there is another method map. So what is the use of map? Suppose let's say I have a requirement where I wanted to transform each element of the array to by some rule. Suppose here there are three values, John, David, and Mary. Now my requirement is I wanted to capitalize these strings. There are three values that are available here. So now I wanted to capitalize those three values. So let's say that is my requirement. So each of the element in the array, I want to capitalize them and I want to produce the new array. So if you want to transform, because I want to transform each value of the array to uppercase. So if that is the case, we can usually use map. So map is a method which will help you to transform each of the element of the array based on your requirement. So now let us capitalize all these elements and I wanted to produce a new array with all capital letters. So let us try this. So now I would say students dot map. So for each value of x, so this is called fat array. So the x refers to each value of the array. So first you will get John to x, then it will get David, then it will get Mary. So now for each value of the x, I wanted to convert this into uppercase. So now I would say x dot to uppercase. So there is a method to uppercase. So this to uppercase is used to convert a string into uppercase. So in this case, for each value of x, it will be transformed to uppercase. So now it will return a new array. So now I would give let and capitalized student. So I'll give like this. Now let us print both the arrays. So I'll print the original array, that is students. So after that, I'll print the capitalized array. So here I just only provided to uppercase, but depending on the requirement, you can do each element to a different transition. Maybe suppose let's say you just want to move them to lowercase. I want to convert all of them to lowercase. Or let's say you have some logic where I want to make only last letter as capital. But depending on the requirement, you can transform by adding some logic here. Okay. So now let me run this. Now I should see that the original array capitalized student should have all capitalized elements in the array. The student should give you the original array, and this capitalized students should give you the array that has been transformed. So now you can see this is a student's array. Then using the map method, I have transformed each of the value to a capital element. So this is the resulted array. This is capitalized student. So this is the way we can use map to transform the elements. So you can use this for anything. It can be a string array or integer array. So depending on the requirement, what you wanted to do on the elements, we can perform that using map method. Okay, so this is all about map method. So now let us discuss about filters method, and there is another method reduce. So now for this I'll take another array, marks array. Yeah, so I'll take this. Yeah, so this is the array numbers. So now I would like to filter an array. I would like to filter this marks array, and I wanted to get a new array which has only even marks. So let's say that is my requirement. So now what I can do is I would say marks dot filter. So what is a filter? For each element of, so this variable name, you can give anything. I can give element or I can give X. So this variable name can be anything. So now what is your requirement? I wanted to get only the marks that are even, let's say. So in this case, I would say for each element of array, I'll check the condition. So now element percentile 2 equal to 0. So what it will do is it will check each element, and if the element is divisible with 2 or if the remainder is 0, then all those elements will be added to another array. So it will produce a new array. So filtered array. Yeah. So now this filter array will have only even marks. So by using this filter method, you can filter the values. So now let me print this. So I'll print marks and filtered array. So now the filter array should have only 90 and 100, because 85 and 95, these two are odd numbers. So here you are checking only for even. So now you can see the marks array, we got all the values, whereas the filtered array, we got only 90 and 100, because only those two values are divisible with 2. So this is how we can use filter method to filter the array. And there is another method, find. So the find method is used to match an element. Suppose here I want to find a number 95, let's say. So what I can do is I would say marks dot find. So what I want to do is I want to check for an element whose value is 90. So I would say element equal to 100. Sorry, 100. So what it will do is it will check each element, and if the element value is equal to 100, then it will return that element. So if the element is not equal to 100, it will not add to array. So in this case, there is one element which is matching with 100, it will give that. So now I would say let matched element. So now let me print this. So you should simply get 100 here. If there are no element, you will get the empty array. So yeah, so the find method we can simply use to identify or to match an element or to find an element in the array. So this can be used during the search. Suppose let's say during your automation, so you got some array from the web and you wanted to find a particular element, then you can use this find method. And if the element is available in that, it will give that. If the element is not available, it will give empty. Okay, so this is how we can perform find. Okay. Yeah, there is another method reduce. So what reduce does is, so I want to perform some operation. Like suppose I wanted to add all the elements and I want to reduce this to a single value. And not only addition, Maybe you want to perform the percentile. You want to find the remainder of element one by one and get the last remainder or whatever. If you want to reduce the array to a single value, we can use the reduce method. So let us see here. I wanted to sum all the values and return the final result. So now I would say reduce. So here I would say for each value of A and B, so I want to get A plus B. So what is the meaning of this? So it will take each value. First it will take 85 and 90, add these two. It will give the result. After that it will add 90. So 85, 90 plus 95. Like that it will add all the values and give the result. So sum, I would say, sum of elements. Yeah, so let me run. It will just add all the values and it will give a single value. Yeah, this is how we can use the methods in arrays. So these are all different methods available in the arrays, and there are some other methods like splice and slice. We will discuss that tomorrow because tomorrow we'll discuss about tuples. So whatever the methods that are available in tuples, same are available in array and vice versa. So maybe that we can discuss tomorrow. So now, yeah, these are the different methods in the array. So we just seen push method, pop method, unshift, shift, and map method to transform the elements, filter to filter an element, find method to find an element, reduce to reduce whole array to a single value. So yeah, this is all about different methods that are available in the array. So now what is the next topic? So yeah, so let us discuss about constant versus let arrays. What is the difference between declaring an array as a constant and declaring an array as let? I think as of now we declare the array using a let keyword. So now let us discuss the difference. So let me create a new file. So 04, so arrays. So I would say let versus constant. I think in the last session, we discussed about the difference between let and constant. So if you declare something as constant, the value cannot be changed. Once you initialize, you cannot change. When you declare that as a let, you can change the value. So the same is applies to array as well, but the array behavior is little bit different. Let us see. Yeah, the same thing I'll declare here. So now I have declared students. So it has three values. It is of type let. So when you declare an array with the let keyword, you can perform anything. I mean to say, you can reassign the array, or you can update the value, or you can delete the value, or you can perform push pop all the methods. So now I'll do one thing. So I would say students equal to, I'll add one more value here. So Mary, I'll give here TR. So this is called reassignment of the array because initially the students has been assigned with only three values, but now students has been reassigned. Here you see I have reassigned the whole array. So adding the values using push pop, that is different. Reassigning the array is different. Here initially I assigned these three values to the students array, but now I have completely reassigned the array. This is called reassignment of the array. So reassignment. Okay. So that means if you declare a array using let keyword, you can perform all the methods, updation, deletion, everything you can perform. Along with that, we can also reassign the array. Now let us do the same thing with constant array. So now I would say constant. I will change the array name as student names. Okay. So now I'll try to reassign. You will get an error because if you declare an array as constant, the constant array also allows you to call all the methods that we have discussed earlier. You can call pop method, push method, you can change the value, everything you can do except reassigning the array. So initially whatever the array you have assigned, on the same thing you can perform the operations, but you cannot reassign the array. So here in this case, the student names I am trying to reassign with a new array. It is not allowing. That is only the difference. Everything else is same. So methods perform calling the methods, accessing the values, everything will be same. Only the difference between let array and constant array is just a reassignment. In the let array, you can reassign the complete array again, but when you declare an array as a constant, you cannot perform reassignment. So this is only the difference. Yeah, this is all about difference between let and constant. So now let us discuss about read-only arrays. So arrays, so read-only. Yeah, the name itself suggests that these are read-only arrays. So read-only arrays means you can only read. You cannot modify the values of the array. So yeah, I'll declare the same array again. This one. So now instead of giving so students a string, so before the data type, I'll declare as read-only. Okay. So the moment you declare an array as a read-only, so then it is read-only. You cannot perform any operations, like you cannot call any method, or you cannot reassign the array, or you cannot change the value of an array. So let me try changing the value student of. So I would say student of 0 equal to tester. I'll try. You will get an error here. What is the error? Index signature in type read only permit reading. So that means if you declare an array as read only, you cannot change the values. So this is a normal way of declaring an array. In the same way, you can declare using generics. So I'll say student names. So I want to declare using generics. So generics you can do like this. Read only arrays. Yeah. So what is the type? String. This is declaring an array using generics. We have to use read only array. So the behavior is going to be the same for this array or this array. Both are read only. The behavior would be the same. So this is the difference between a normal array and read only array. Yeah, the finally there is one more array that is called union array. So let us discuss about that. So array union type. So these are called union type arrays. So what is the difference between a normal and a union type array? So if you observe here, I have declared the data type as a string. So it can allow only string values. Here I declare as a number. It can allow only numbers. But now I wanted to create an array which will accept both strings and numbers. Yes, that is possible in TypeScript. How can we achieve that? So let us try this. So let me give this array here. So I would say student IDs. I'll give array name as student IDs. Here I'll provide union types. So I would say number, pipe symbol, string. So if you declare an array like this is called union type array. So since this array you have declared with number and string data type, so it can accept both. So here I can give 1, 2, 3, 1, 4, 5. Like that you can give both numbers as well as strings. So these are called union types and remaining is same, like iterating to the array, accessing the methods and everything would be the same. So this is the difference between union types and a normal array. So this is normal way of declaring. And if you want to
Hi,
declare
Madhu.
generics,
So can will it accept the alphanumeric or just only the either integer or the string itself?
no, it will
Like
accept only either string or integer. Alpha numeric because I mean, suppose if you give like this, 1, 2, 3,
I mean
ABC.
alphanumeric means
Yeah,
within
this
the
is
strings.
yeah, because alphanumeric, if you want, you have to give as a string. So 1, 2,
Okay,
3,
okay.
4 ABC will give an error because this is neither integer, neither string. Okay, yeah. So if you want to declare a generic array, you can keep like this number. So this is how you can declare union types in the generic arrays. So here you can have multiple values. Yeah. So this is all about the difference between union types and a normal array. Whatever the methods that we have discussed, all those methods are applicable here as well. Okay. So now let us discuss about what is a generic array and what is the use of generic array. So I think earlier we have discussed here, right? So we can declare a generic array like this. Now, what is the use of declaring a generic array? Why should I go for generic arrays? So now, yeah, so I'll create a function now, but to understand functions more, we'll understand that in the coming sessions. But just for information purpose, I'm writing one simple function. I would say function. It is print items. So here I provide items. The type I am giving as array of t. So array of t, it will return void. Discuss more about the functions in the future sessions. So now here I am providing arrays as t. So and I should provide t here. Okay. So this is called generics. So let me print console.log. So I want to print items. Okay. Yeah. So here print items is a function and it is accepting a generic array. So at the moment you say array of t, so t can be any data type. It can be a number, it can be a string, or it can be boolean. So we can provide anything. So now if I provide print items of student names, actually student names is a number, sorry, string. So now I'll provide another marks. Marks is a number. So that means whenever you declare an array as generic, it can accept any type of any data type. So first I passed a student names, which is a string. Second time I passed marks, which is a number. That means if you declare an array as a generic, it can accept any type of data. So this will be used for generic functions. Here, print items is a generic function, which will accept only arrays. Because my requirement is I want to accept array of any type. It can be union type, it can be a string, or it can be a number. Anything it can accept. So for those kind of things, we use the generic arrays. If I keep a string of t here, that will become a generic array. Okay. But we'll discuss more about this in functions because I just want to give you a overview of what is a generic, how to use that. So for that reason, I just created a simple function. Okay.